know. This Lich pick doesn't sit right with me, and I'm
No.
not loving it.
Unless maybe, like you say, maybe if it is going to be run as a core Marcy, it's not too bad of a pairing. Like you chuck Frost Armor on the Marcy, she just leaps in, just slowing people, stunning, doing a lot of work, while the Lich is just in the back providing support. Could be an interesting sort of combination if that's what they go for. But Myth Avenue, they decide to snap up the Lina and Tusk.
So it's gonna be so it's gonna be the off lane like we thought it's gonna be the off lane Nature's Prophet. It's gonna be the carry Lina, and I think that it's gonna be a XC learn on the Tusk here. So although they could flex it, right? It's like not like they're forced to put the Tusk in the mid lane. They could put it as a position a position 5 and take something else last pick for their mid. But I kind of would prefer. Whatever Myth Avenue Gaming takes, I do think that their next pick should be something who could go a bit in the front lines, right? Like, Lina's Nature's Prophet Ruby. These guys are going to be fairly close to each other. Polaris, if they want, they could take something like a Mars or a Tide Hunter and just screw up all three heroes. I wouldn't mind the Mars, actually.
Mars got taken away by Polaris in that last band.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, so unfortunately we can't see him. But, you know, like you said, anything else, a nice big beefy boy is definitely what they're going to need to sit in the front lines. But yeah, I think if it is a carry Lina and then a Tusk, I would actually quite like to see the Tusk as a 5 because that is a pretty deadly combo. Like snowball forwards, easy setup for the LSA, and then obviously the attack speed bonus from Fiery Souls, just pairing with tag teams so well that you can just annihilate people. So maybe that's the idea there for Myth Avenue to run that combination.
And
I'd like to see it.
And let's be fair, Lina is a hero that needs more damage, right? So the tag team is very necessary for the Lina. It's like without it, she barely tickles the people. But I can imagine that the tag team plus maybe a Blightstone, the Nature's Prophet, and what did they go with Polaris? They take the Tiny. All right, so it is going to be the mid Tiny and very likely the offlane Death Prophet. It's still a little flexible though, right? Because Polaris they do run Marcy core sometimes, so it's like I don't know though. Death Prophet also is a risky hero to put in a core position in a game like this, because if you get bursted down by the Lina and you throw an Exosim, it's really bad. Whereas Marcy, if you have a Bash or BKB, you jump on the Lina, you can control her easily.
Yeah, that's definitely true. I mean, if they do run the Marcy as a 4, there's not really a huge amount of synergy there between her and the Death Prophet, because like if you were to put the sidekick onto the DP, she doesn't really get any use out of that whatsoever. She's not really a right-click hero, all about the spells. So maybe, I don't know, that could be a factor to potentially push the Marcy into a different role, just for the lack of big wombo combo.
Even with the Tiny, right? Like sidekick is great on really fast-hitting heroes, whereas the Tiny who hits kind of slow. Like it's obviously useful. Like it's not that like it doesn't, but you'd rather put it on something like a PA or like an Ursa, where every hit gets that extra 65, and you're hitting so many times a second anyway. Whereas Tiny is more of like blink, Echo Saber hit, move around, Echo Saber hit 3 seconds later, like 3 or 4 seconds after that. So it's not. It's the synergy, like you said, it's not the most amazing. And Myth Avenue, they do get rid of 2 fast attacking heroes, which is the Faceless Void and the Anti-Mage. They have last pick here. Feels like Polaris thinks that Myth Avenue is going to take a mid here. And what are they going to go with? They do take the Darkseer.
Interesting. Okay, so it's not like a really main big beefy frontliner. I mean, sure, Darkseer can take some punishment in these team fights, but yeah, it definitely seems like they're a bit more of on the squishier side, this team, at the moment. So
it's a mid Lina, by the way, right? It's like a Miracle is going to take the Nature's Prophet carry. It's going to be the mid Lina, Darkseer offline. Darkseer and Tusk, that's a very nice Iron Shield combo. They take the Shadow Fiend. A very, very risky last pick coming out here for Polaris, because you are up against Nature's Prophet can come next to you. You're up against a Darkseer. And dude, Polaris, I think that's a carry Marcy. Akashi is their carry player, and we went for the Marcy. So mid Shadow Fiend is going to be the offlane Death Prophet. I mean, from the beginning, I was like, I think this Marcy is going to be off. It's going to be a core role. I was expecting it offlane. It comes out as a carry Marcy. Man.
Yeah, this could be very interesting. As well as like the Shadow Fiend pickup is obviously a nice pairing with the Marcy as well. Like we're saying, when there was big 5 versus 5 team fights, using the sidekick on the fellow Shadow Fiend on the mid laner, and then that's going to be further damage output and lifesteal for them. So I do quite like this sort of carry mid laner duo. I feel like it could work out. But yeah, to see an actual position 1 Marcy, it's going to be interesting. Like I was saying earlier, the pairing with the Lich could be pretty damn deadly though. So it could be up to the Tusk and Darkseid to try and avoid death as much as possible.
Yeah, I mean, it fits in the draft. Doesn't mean like it's good. That's a problem, right? Like something can work together, but are the numbers gonna be enough? Like you work well with the Lich. I think the Marcy Lich combo in the lane that you were mentioning is very powerful, right? You got stuns, slows, you got a great chase. The Frost Shield on you is great. You put the Marcy with the Shadow Feed. Later on, both benefit hugely from the sidekick. Both benefit from the Mice armor. It's nice as well. I don't know. I don't know. I feel like I like Myth Avenue Gaming's draft a little bit more though. It feels a little bit more balanced. It can really go either way. I have question marks on Polaris, not because I like doubt it, but because I don't know. Whereas I know Myth Avenue Gaming, their draft is good. They're a good team, and I'll favor them in game 1. You know, I'll stake my reputation on it.
Oh, he's taking your rep on that. That's a
Uh,
big call out, you know. If it goes wrong, it could be minus rep for you, sir. But hopefully it is not, and it all goes well.
To be fair, at this point, I'm not sure anyone really listens to me. You know, sometimes I talk to my son. I'm like, "Don't do that." He's like, "Dad, you're always wrong." I'm like, why should I listen to you? You can't even predict anything right these days.
Well, you know, you can't always be right, but you never know. We might see something crazy happen. Both teams starting this one off with a 5-man smoke, but not really to look like going for any first blood plays. Everyone just spreading out, trying to set up for just to get the bounty rune advantage at the start of the game. Do you think we might get a little tussle for some of it, or do you think everyone's just going to sort of go for the standard 2-for-2?
I wouldn't mind if Polaris goes right. Like they are getting ready on their side of the net. It looks like they usually each team takes the other team's bounty runes, but Polaris they're on their side. They're like, come on, is anyone going to come? They even put an observer board next to their bounty rune, the one near the outpost. So they want to fight here. We'll see if Myth Having Game is going to go for it. Looks like they don't want to, right? It's like you're up against multiple stuns and slows, and why go for it? Feels like they're definitely the stronger level 1 draft. And
yeah, for sure. Like Darkseid doesn't really bring much to the table with level 1. He's got the Iron Shell, but it's not really going to be doing a huge amount of impact to these sort of fights. Looks like they're going to force Bok away from this bottom bounty, which I'm sure he will decide to not contest this.
Can you imagine, like, Nature's Prophet shows up, he's like, oh, hey guys, you want me to sprout them or stubborn 2 of my homies? You know, it's like, which one would you like me to do in this situation? Like, no, you can go, Nature's Prophet. You don't give us anything here.
Yeah. Just say the Tusk's name's actually bugged at the moment. It's coming down as VVV, but it is Vincenzo. So just have to try to remember that if we can. I absolutely hate it when a lot of players use so many nicknames and then you're just getting confused. It's like, wait, who actually is this? Because they change it every damn day. It's like a whole separate job just to keep up with actually what people's names are. It's very hard.
And you're like, I'm pretty sure his name is Naruto. You know, I'm like, I know that's not gonna be his IGN. I'm pretty sure he's just putting it just to mess with us. And then you have to go. It's like, wait, is it a stand-in? Is it the real player? We'll figure it out. But yeah, top lane. It's going to be the Lich and the Marcy against the Darkseer as well as the Tusk. It feels like anyone can really die in this lane. I'm mostly worried about CML though. I do think Lich is going to have the most problems, but again, it's Marcy and Lich. Like this is a pretty deadly duo.
Yeah, and as we talk about that, just doing a little bit of punishment there on towards the Tusk, but nothing so far. Obviously, I think the level 3 spike is really powerful for both of these teams here in this top lane. Like you have the level 2 in the Iron Shell with the Tusk, and then obviously you got the 2 points into the Blast or Frost Armor. So it's going to be a lot of carnage once that 3 hits, and I think if we haven't seen a first blood by then, we probably will see it. Yeah, going on Miracle right now. It's taking in so much damage, has to use that Surge to run away. Damn, yeah, he took quite a little punishing for that one. He's already got 2 shared tangos in his backpack. I think maybe the Tusk got a little bit frenzious there with his buttons and just chucked loads of him on.
It's like, eat them, eat 2 at the same time, whatever gets you alive. But yeah, once this Tusk is level 3 as well, he might have 1 point each spell, which adds a lot to his killing power. Mid lane, I want to go there for a second. It's Mac versus XC Learn. And it's Shadow Fiend versus Lina. What year is this? Can you remind me? Because this seems like such a classic matchup coming out.
Yeah, like you very rarely see these guys as mids anymore. Both of them always carries, but back for an old classic Dota show him. 1v1 in the mids, and so far it is just the Lina pulling head very, very slightly, but obviously that isn't going to remain the same sort of thing. As more levels pile up onto the Shadow Fiend, there's raised damage, it's just going to secure so much CS, but even still, got to contend with the long-range right clicks of the Lina. Very, very scary.
Top lane.
Yeah, Tusk is in some real danger, he's trying to get out. One more right click is all they're going to need from the Marcy, and they do manage to find it. Akashi, first blood on the board. Very, very
And that's
nice
what you want. That's definitely what you want to see if you are playing the carry Mars. Like sometimes when you debut, I mean, it's not really a debut for the hero. We've seen Marcy core many times, but when it's something that's not played often, you want to make sure that you actually you have to perform well because you go to your team, guys, come on, I'm telling you, the mid Crystal Maiden works. And it's like, all right, well, you better win when we pick it for you, because otherwise we're going to feel like fools. So after a great start, Miracle's still suffering, by the way, in this top lane.
He had to actually move himself into the jungle to try and find what farm he can, but CML was just not letting him have any space whatsoever, relentlessly charging after him. Might be in a spot of danger though, as the Tusk is here. He's still going to try and pressure into the ducks here. Going to be able to get himself away. Nice shards blocking him in. CML's going to try and deny to Lucas, and he gets it. What a fantastic play coming out from the Lich. And then, yeah, this Darkseer is going to be forced to run himself all the way back to base. So much dead time for him. And the Marcy's have an absolute free game.
Yeah, it's been the best for Akash, and a lot of credit goes to Sam. Like he goes in there, if he denies himself, really well played every way, uses all his resources, gets Darkseer out of the lane. By the way, it's Miracle on the Darkseer. I thought he would definitely be playing the Nature's Prophet, and Zeal would be playing the Darkseer, because I mean that is their offlaner. But interesting that they decided to swap roles in that situation. But bottom lane, let's look at that for a second. So far, Death Prophet suffering a tiny bit in terms of CS, but not that big of a deal. And Nature's Prophet's got a good amount of denies here, 8 denies, and it'll be interesting to see when he goes active around the map when he helps out his team. Because you pick a Nature's Prophet, you do need him to do that for you.
Yeah, 100%. It's all about that ability to rotate around. Still just losing his current. Did he get his items first? I think he did, didn't he?
Yes, it was on the way back. So yeah, he's got the boots on him right now, just equipped it. So. He's fine. Although that courier death does give the enemy team a lot of gold. It's multiplied by 5, so even it's like 40 gold, it's still 200 in total.
Yeah, that is nice.
It adds up.
Basically, like picking up a whole bounty rune.
Exactly. That's why I spend most of my games looking for the couriers and ignoring the heroes. I'm like, don't worry, guys.
Yeah.
I got a couple of couriers. It'll all be worth it.
Yeah, that's generally what I do. Whenever I play a 4, I put like a really deep ward down, and I just spend my time trying to snipe couriers. Like that's the easiest way to win a lane, it feels. But yeah, Miracle, he feels so scared of that top lane. He's actually now moved himself into the bottom jungle. Meanwhile, Jing, gets clipped and has to be forced to TP away. Not ideal for him, but regardless, they got that deep ward down. They got the vision, the fact that this Darkseer is just getting ruined so hard. And CMO, he smells him again. He's going to try and lurk around. He might actually run straight into Darkseer right now. He's already used his surge. Ooh, but he changed his direction last second. Very, very close.
Smart U-turn.
Disastrous. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Oh god, it makes life. They actually tried to go for Mac in the mid lane. Like Tusk was there, positioning, waiting. But it's very nice when you win one lane, right? Because you can tell your team, guys, these guys are missing. Like everyone plays a little bit more carefully. It's not like, oh, when they missed for 20 seconds, they smoke up the kills. Like, no, we know exactly what they are. Kishka, is he going to be losing his life? Just for the keyword.
Like oh, nice telekinesis time, and make sure he doesn't get hit by the first raise, but the slow from the blast, that will just find the kill. One more right click's all he needs. And down goes the Rubik. Nice little rotation there from Polaris, just to pick off that free kill. I mean, there is... Akashi is solo up top. He's TP'd away. Does snowball land? So the vacuum does pull him back. So the TP has been wasted, but regardless, he's level 6. Now he's going to plow into the Tusk, but the Surge bringing him to safety.
Let's just see what item build the Marcy goes for. He's got the Falcon Blades. He's going to go for the Phase Boots. We'll see where he goes after that here. And will they consider trying to do something? The ultimate is down, Unleash. And Lina's not too far. She might just show up, throw a Laguna Blade. Marcy, I was going to say she doesn't have the biggest health, but then you look at her and you're like, oh, 1,300 in 7 minutes. That's a lot. She has 3.6 strength. That doesn't seem right for such a scrawny kind of hero.
Yeah. So maybe she used the power to talk to just up her strength, It's like when a blind man, the rest of his senses are heightened. Could be that sort of scenario, you never know.
She's way tougher than she looks for sure. And it does feel like Myth Avenue Gaming a little bit lost right now, you know, like they're, especially the top lane, you know, Miracle as well as the Tusk, they're walking around. They're not sure what they're going to go for here. But all right, Dark's here. Is he going to be all right?
Nice.
Nice.
Nice use of the Singe Gaze, dragging back in. Yeah, this Darks is in real danger, trying to stand his ground, but he is dead. Rotation from Jing as well. And the Tusk's so desperate to maybe get at least the kill, but he's not going to find it. 2 people dead. More pickoffs there for Polaris, 4-0 for them. I'm kind of surprised that the net worth isn't more into the favor of Polaris, but I guess the cause on the side of Avenue Gaming are still actually CSing quite well. They're not performing behind
Yes,
this level.
and yeah, and you can look at Zeal. He's been having basically a free game. Like Bach is doing fairly well as well, but he's not like they're not shutting him down, but he's not also contesting the Nature's Prophet. He's a little bit scared. He's going back to the jungle right now just to make sure he's safe. So overall, Nature's Prophet has had a pretty decent laning phase, and Bach doesn't have to worry about being killed because he can just spirit siphon multiple people. Good lane though. Some engagement, but
yeah, just say
some
hello to
blows.
each other.
How are you doing?
Yeah, friendly greeting. Not so friendly, but yeah. So that's like the 3rd Dragon Slave, where it looks like it should hit the Shadow Fiend, but it's just not. Max just somehow evading every single hit from that. Feeling pretty healthy.
He's further away than he looks, you know. It looks like he's nearby, but he's not. By the way, check out what Bach has bought. He's got 2 Wraith Bands. The enemy team does have a lot of physical damage from the Lina as well as the Nature's Prophet. This item gives you something like almost 6 armor at the 25-minute mark. So you get 12 armor from each of them, which is pretty massive. And it's very cheap and useful early on. So I like this. So we're seeing a lot of offlaners have completely ditched the Bracer and just go for multiple Wraith Bands. The item scales better into the late game. And interesting to see the box one of them. Even on the Death Prophet, which is not a hero that you would think would go for the Wraith Band, to be frank.
Nah. Yeah, it's like our series yesterday. We saw Rubik's picking up the damn Wraith Band,
Yeah.
so it's just absolutely anyone can grab it this game. Oh, Kashi making his rotation towards the bot, but the reach is just not there, and another telekinesis throw back. And Avenue Gaming easily able to just evade that little gank.
Rebound got so nerfed, you know. It used to be 800 range at all levels. Now it's maxed out 750 and starts at 450. So unfortunately, this is the problem with the Marcy, right? Like you need levels. Before level 7 was enough. Oh, there's a support, there's a core, but now you need like at least level 10 to get the max rebound and dispose. So or rebound and sidekick for him, you know. So it's a bit tough.
Yeah.
Akashi, he's having the best game possible. Number 1 in terms of net worth. He's go rushing the BKB, which I like, and looks like they're going to pressure this bottom tier 1.
Yeah, it's taking quite a punishment right now. Doesn't look like there's going to be much rotation though from Avenue Gaming to try and defend it. Although it looks like Kishka might be in some danger. Another telekinesis save. Toss though comes in from Jing. Nice little combo, and they will manage to find down the Rubik. Meanwhile, at the top, Zeal is going to take down the tier 1 tower, but CML's there to try and stop the trees. Going for the TP out. Is there any cancel? Yes, there is. Avalanche through the trees. And another kill there for Polaris. At least they were able to take down the tier 1 tower, which is what the Lina's also doing in the mid. Actually forces out the cliff himself. Actually gets the connection onto Bok as well. Can he bring down the Death Prophet? Not quite, but enough to force him away. And then another engagement top. Miracle's dead again. Tusk now in a 1 versus 2. It looks like he's trying to get on top of Mac as best he can. The Iron Shell's doing a lot of work, and he actually finds the kill. Obviously, the final little Requiem death explosion there does take him out, but regardless, you know, he got something for it. 2 double kills.
It's nice for Myth Avenue Gaming to get on the board, and they are pressuring these top. Like they took the mid tier 1, they took the top tier 1, so they are recognizing that okay, maybe we can't fight them, but we can definitely still create pressure around the map. So I like what they're doing there, and regardless of how it looks, XZLearn is farming well on the Lina, and that's kind of the most important thing, right? As long as you have the Lina, you have a chance to win the game.
Yeah, that is very true. Do you think he's going to be going for a bots relatively early for the boost of travel? Because like the global presence of that plus the Nature's Prophet will allow Avenue Gaming to just pretty much appear at any single fight and maybe turn it around. But I mean, he's not got it queued up yet, but I imagine there must be an item he's going to go for.
I'd like that. I mean, I'd like that a lot if he wants to go for it, but we'll see if he does. It would give him. They kind of need that, right? Or he could be like, all right, guys, you're gonna have to suffer for a while until I get my BKB, and like then I'll be fighting with you guys. So I think he's got something coming out for the Korean. We'll find out. No, he's going. Yep, he's going to go for the Maelstrom, and then he's going to go for the BKB. So he's just going to farm for a while.
So
sorry.
might be dead here in the mid, trying to survive as long as he can, but he is a goner. Maybe even going to change targets. Tusk getting spot, jump force there from the Marcy. The pig pole just about gets him in range. Oh, the shards actually traps the Tusk inside the trees as well. I think it's all about delaying the inevitable right now. This man is dead for sure. And he will drop another kill. Actually, they're not even done jumping forwards for Miracle. His Surge is off of cooldown, but can he get the option to do it? The toss is going to be there, throwing it back into the arms, into the Sinister Gaze as well. Absolute perfect combination coming out from Polaris. That's another kill. Wow, these guys are just on fire.
They continue to just take these fights really well. I mean, Miracle, he's kind of recovered, right? His net worth isn't that bad. Barely ahead behind Bach, but in terms of like the impact on the game, you feel like Miracle has just been completely shut down wherever he goes. Polaris, and like I said, this is the best look for Akashi's Marcy. I keep being excited. I want to see where he's going to go. Imagine after the BKB, it's going to be the Abyssal. Maybe he wants to get Blink Dagger after that, just to get on top of the Lina, so he makes sure. Sorry, I said Abyssal. I meant Basher. Get on top of Lina, make sure she's controlled these fights. But Mid-Heavy Gaming, they are going to smoke up on 3 here. Doing everything they can to give Zeal and XC some time to farm. And that is kind of scary, right? Nature's Prophet Lina late game, that's no joke. That's very powerful.
Yeah, that is going to be something that Blur's going to have to watch out for. But talking about watching out, Mac, he's in some real danger. Tusk's on top of him, the TP's are coming in, but I think it's going to be too late. Frost Armor, not enough to save his life. Maybe they're going to be able to get some sort of counter kills. The Tusk's already dead. The Chain Frost is bouncing around. Xing able to get himself out. Yeah, this Chain Frost is just doing so much work onto the Lina. He can't survive. Zeal's also dead. Maybe Miracle can take out Bot before he dies, but it's not going to happen. The X's and finishes him off. Can they get the full 5-man wipe? And it looks like they will. Polaris, they lose their Shadow Fiend, but they take absolutely everything from Myth Gaming.
I mean, it was a good start from Mid Avenue. They went in, they got the kill on Mac, but on the way out, Bach just comes in. He kept getting, it looks like he was going to die a couple of times, but he got the mech, he got this perfect Spirit Siphon going on for multiple targets, so huge fight for them. And percentage-wise, the game is like, it's maybe 3,000, but Polaris is an 85% win percentage, right now.
Yeah, that is pretty big. I'm kind of, like, whilst that Chain Frost was bouncing around, the Lina just looked like they were just sort of standing there taking it. There was no attempt to sort of split apart to avoid the damage, and yeah, it was just got absolute max value out of that skill, which is kind of a surprise, but hey, maybe you just didn't notice. Maybe there was too much going on. You never know.
Maybe they're like, you know, we believe we can tank it, and they're like, oh no, we can't at all. And what are they going to find? Is it going to be Excellent again?
Yeah, oh, nicely placed LSA, but even still, Foster forward, dragging back in. Going to try and focus down onto the Lich. They do manage to find the kill, but it just doesn't matter. Even going to be the Requiem just to secure the Tusk. Another double, and they're going to be able to finish up the stacks that the Lina was so desperately trying to farm up herself.
Things going from bad to worse right now for Myth Avenue. I mean, like Polaris is they're just making all the right moves here. They put a nice ward just to get vision. It's a greedy draft, you know, that's the problem. You have Nature's Prophet, who is going for a more farming build, and you have the Lina as well, who wants to farm, and you have a Darkseer who suffered. So it is just like Myth Avenue, they gotta find a way to stall the game. The late game is still very powerful, but the draft is working against them. You know, Polaris, they're ready to fight with this core Marcy, with Bach on the Death Prophet. They're just ready to take these engagements. Bach already has a Guardian Greaves, fantastic against the heavy physical damage coming out from Myth Avenue.
Yeah, it's like they need some hero to make a play to actually, try and claw some space back in this game, but who actually is that? I suppose it's meant to be the role of the offlaner here for Miracle to do so. I mean, he's still trying to build his Guardian Greaves, which he is about to complete, mind you, but that's not an item which all of a sudden you can make play with, you know? So it's definitely going to be a tall order here for Avenue Gaming to sort of come back on into it, but there is still a slimmer of hope. It looks like they're going to try and TP top to defend their tier 1 tower. They got the Sprouts locking in onto the Marcy right now, but it doesn't matter. There's so many ways to disengage. Going to be us vacuum. Out goes the Chain Frost. Doing a lot of work. The CML just immediately burst down right now. The Tusk charging forwards. Does get a nice shard connection there onto Akashi. Needs to hold him in place though to get close, but never mind. Xing to chuck it straight forwards, throwing the Lina into the way-in arms of the Marcy. Gets eviscerated in seconds, and now focusing on towards the next core. They're dropping like flies right now. This Marcy just feels unstoppable, and the rest of the team has to run away, leaving the Tusk to his fate. Oh, nice shots, mind you. He's trying to get out. Oh, never mind. You can't escape that. Meanwhile, the rest of the team cutting off the few stragglers there from Myth Gaming. Miracle dead yet again. And that is 4 people gone. They were able to find the Lich at least, but I still don't think that's worth it. And now they're going Roche.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't think trading Lich for a team wipe is quite what they were looking for. They're like, hey guys, I think we shouldn't do that anymore. It doesn't feel right. But yeah, Polaris, dude, they went for Akashi. They're like, we gotta kill the Marcy. We're gonna get this kill on the Marcy, and they went in really deep. At some point, he was like excellent. It was close by. He's like, hey, I can just BKB and turn around. It just eviscerates, like you said, eviscerates. What a nice word. Which is what he did to her.
Yeah,
disappeared.
Like, they have no answer to this BKB. Like, absolutely nothing that can stop it. I suppose you could do a Walrus Punch, the holds him in place for a second, but that is it. Meanwhile, Kishka dying another time there in the mid. Yeah, so this Marcy just feels kind of uncountered this game. Like, what can they do to actually put a stop to her? Jing. He does just walk into the waiting arms there of Alina, but it doesn't matter. In comes the Marcy. Just gonna clean it up. Nice Chain Frost as well for good measure. And then this will be another one. Godlike spree for Akashi. 10-0-5 at 18.5 minutes in. Yeah, this is... I don't want to say this game's over, but it feels like an extremely high mountain to climb here.
It is, and Akashi is gonna have the Basher ready if he wants to buy it. I think he's getting something coming. Oh, I was like, he's getting an item. It's a clarity potion, but yeah, he has enough money to buy the Basher if he wants to go for it. You know, there is one thing though, is that Polaris ultra late game. I would say I favor Myth Avenue Gaming. You know, it is the Lina, it is the Nature's Prophet. These are, speaking of Nature's Prophet.
Yeah, he's just been caught right now. Nice use of the Requiem long range there to get the cancel on the TP. Trying to go for another teleport out, but it's not going to happen. Another pick off, but that is their carry there on the side of Avenue. It's just can't find anything at all.
So as I was saying, they have no chance of winning on Myth Avenue Gaming because late game Polaris just has so much better draft. You know, it's still possible for Myth Avenue. The problem is that can you split push? I think they can. Like the catch from Polaris is good, but it's not the global presence. Like you should be able to as an Nature's Prophet. However, we're having a fight here.
So the Tusk might just die, but at least we're going to get a trade here onto the Tiny, will they? The 4-star saving his life. Instead, it will be CML. Xism already popped. Marcy, I don't know what happened there. He sort of ran backwards to jump forwards, and it did not work out whatsoever. But still, Jing in some danger. Survived with a sliver of HP, and then the Marcy's just going to clean up both the Natures and the Ducks here. Oh, I say that, Ducks actually manages to run himself away. Meanwhile, though, the Tusk walked back for this, and he might just die. Finally, they do kill that Tiny. And now Kishka's in some real bother right now. He's going to try and juke and drive through the trees, and yeah, he will be able to make it way. Still got the 4-star available if he needed it. But they're not.
Definitely as a Rubik, you'd prefer the Avalanche over the toss. You know, you're like, oh, well, I mean, I could toss someone, but much prefer the Avalanche. And overall, that's not the worst trade. If you look at it, like it's very even. It's a 2-for-2. Even with a dieback on the Tusk, it doesn't really matter so much because they're so far behind that you can trade at a disadvantage and still come out happy with it.
Yeah, gotta look on the bright side of things, and I'm sure that's what Myth Avenue are trying their best to do right now. Because sometimes tilt is your worst enemy. Like, if you get tilted, that's just it. The game's going to be over. So, as long as if they see that there is hope, then there is hope left. It's just all up to them, though.
And there is a lot of things to be hopeful of, to be honest. Lina does have the BKB, and we were talking about, like, Myth Avenue, how do they control people who have BKB? And you look at Polaris, their only BKB counter is the Basher on Akashi. He has to get on top. I mean, it's a very good counter, don't get me wrong. But it's like, if you could control the Marcy for a few seconds, Alina gets to do her damage, she can bring down Mac fairly easily. Oh, here we go.
Yeah, they're going to go for Mac right now. Focus on top, but he has the Aegis as well. This isn't really the best target to go for. The Tusk going to get dragged back in, just gets Gatling gunned down by the SF. Miracle in some real danger, but able to just surge away. No cancel for that. But regardless, the tier 2 will still fall. I suppose they can say that they forced the BKB usage, but never mind. The Rubik has also been caught. He's still alive for now, and actually the Surge will get him away. In comes the rest of the team. Maybe they want to try and fight this. Requiem from the high ground. The Fear just about connects on long range.
No.
Lina getting dragged back in. The BKB is there. Can he take down the SF's first life? They do at least get rid of the Aegis, but regardless, they're suffering heavy losses as a result. Long range Quip Swarm not quite going to be enough to finish the kill.
I mean, there was some good there's some good ideas coming out from Myth Avenue, man. They forced Akashi to TP top on the Marcy, then they were like, all right, let's go take the fight bottom. But they were kind of half-half, right? Excellent went all in, but Zeal was not. He was not about it. He was like, nope, this is not gonna win. So unfortunately, Lina goes in and she dies. Zeal doesn't join the fight, and it's like it was two plans that being followed at the same time. That's the worst possibility.
Yeah. And so far, they just keep on slipping further and further away. Teetering between 11 to 12,000 gold lead now for Polaris. It looks like they want to go for another tier 2 push right now. Seeing if anyone on the side of Avenue Gaming steps out of position they could just jump onto. Jing's already in, got the grab on towards the Darkseer, but not enough to actually lock him in place for now. Instead, they can change the toss on towards the Tusk. And he's just offered himself up on a plate right there. Down he goes, tier 2's already gone, and High Ground Siege coming up. Nice vacuum into the LSA, perfect targets right now. Akashi's able to get himself out, actually jumps back in aggressively, trying to focus onto Alina as best as he can. The sidekick regen just doing so much work, but a buyback from the Lina as well. It looks like Avenue Gaming want to try their best to turn this whole situation around, and Polaris sort of in disarray about whether they want to go back. Bok is the only one still around, and even still, it looks like Avenue Gaming can't touch him, and he just TPs away.
It costs you a Lina buyback, though. That is, that's not. Oh, Jing, though. You might reward them for that.
Yeah, okay, they're going to be able to get the +1 there onto the Tiny. And he goes down as well. So, nice 3 kills there. Like I said, does cost them a buyback onto the Lina, mind you. But even still, it's a gold exchange in their favor as well as experience. So, they're going to be, I think they're going to be slightly happy. If the Lina dies, though, soon, then they're not going to be happy at all.
Yeah, it's a little unfortunate that Jing died sort of at the end when I think, we could have gone back. But either way, he does lose his life. And like we're saying, once his XG he can stand it and just right-click, he does a ton of damage. I mean, remember, there is a maxed out tag team, so if Tusk can be next to a target that helps. He always got is a BKB and a Maelstrom, but that is just more than enough to just bring down whoever needs. So Akashi did jump on him and controlled him really well with the basher, but that's not gonna be there forever. You know, the BKB duration is down to 7 seconds. Once they can control Marcy, give the Lina a chance to fight, it's more even than it looks. You know, I know it's 9,000, but it's still more even than it looks. I would say it's 90% in Polaris' favor. I'm like 70% into there.
Yeah. Well, still very good odds for Polaris. I mean, I think the only reason that fight went well was just the 2-man vacuum onto the 2 most valuable targets there on Polaris. Like, if they didn't land that, I think that fight would have been completely different. But yeah, just locking down the 2 main damage dealers was absolutely paramount to that success. They got to do that again, though.
Oh, sorry. Check out what Guy is going for. He's going to go for the Aghanim Scepter. So to reduce the cooldown of Unleash, you apply Dispel when you use it. And every time you use an ability, you pulse with it. So Sidekick, Rebound, and Dispose, they all pulse around the Marcy. So it gets a decent chunk of damage to the hero as well.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. I don't think I've really seen people pick up this I'm up too much. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting little debut.
Yeah, also like, this is not. I don't see it much. Like, I think the best part about it is the fact that it dispels. But you look at this game, it's like the only thing you're really dispelling is like what, like Leipnir? Is that it? Is there anything else you can dispel? There's no silences, no nothing. And Miracle needs to be careful here. He sees Mac, but Mac's got his whole crew around.
Oh, Jing, he's found him. Jumps to the trees. Ooh. The Requiem Sword gets cancelled. Miracle's trying his best to run away right now. Does actually drop down the illusory wall, but doesn't really do anything to save his life. And they just farm up the illusions. Meanwhile, pretty much the entirety of Avenue Gaming are just farming up the Dire Triangle right now. Any sort of space that they can find, they're going to try and snatch up. Oh, Mac though, he's just going to charge straight on in here. Underneath the Sentry Wards, they see him. Tusk going for the snowball first. There is a BKB available though, and he's actually just going to use the force off down to the low ground. Nice little illusion rune dodge. But even still, no one actually getting picked off from that. But everyone, this space going into the Roshan pit. See if Polaris can pick up this second Rosh of the game.
A premium item this game for both teams is going to be the Heaven's Halberd. Polaris already has one for Bok, which is fantastic against both the Lina as well as the Niche Buff. It's 5 seconds disarm for them. For Myth Avenue, they want to get one on the Darkseer. Maybe they're not necessarily getting more for that, because you put that on Akashi when he's doing his max attack speed ability. Like 3 seconds feels a lot more impactful on these super fast attack heroes like the Marcy, like the Ursa, and of course especially the Lina. So I'm liking that more and more teams are picking up this Heaven's Helm. I feel like it's a little underrated right now.
Yeah, it is definitely worthwhile. Especially when, obviously, those BKBs get down to just the 6-second duration, so you haven't got to wait outside before you do it. Yeah, jump forwards. They try to get the grab onto Lina. The BKB will avoid the Requiem. Can't say the same for the Tusk, though. Those long-range hits might be able to bring him down. Crypt Swarm just about getting the pick off. But the VIP target of the Lina was able to successfully escape. So I think Avenue going to be grateful about that. But actually, mind you, it's not done yet. Kishka possibly in some danger right now. The Blink Dagger, he actually goes back on himself there, and Bok was not expecting that, so he will be able to evade this another potential kill. He's not even TP'd out. He wants to shove the wave as well. Extra greed, Quip Swarm plus the Arcane Bolt. Or Fade Bolt, sorry. Yeah, nice little play from him.
I like it, right? Just make this is what Mid-Avenue Gaming needs to do. Do whatever they can to drag out the game to make sure that Polaris is, can't just group up and take towers. They are going to do that for the mid lane though, but top and bottom lane are pushing in. So all played by Kishka. Polaris
still not got a creep wave actually. I guess he must have just got like burst down. There's a decent amount of high ground defense here from Avenue Gaming, like the Dragon Slave, the Frost Shards, Fade Bolt, even the Nature's Prophet ultimate, like tons of way to just deal with creeps. So it's not the easiest thing in the world for Polaris to get high ground.
Excuse you. It's only Frost for Lich. For Tusk, it's Ice. I was like, Frost Shards? That's not a Lich ability. I was like, oh, it's Ice Shards. Yeah, there you go. So, yes, only Lich has the monopoly on everything Frost-based in this game somehow.
That's very true. Jing, looks like he has been the one to take the brunt of this little smoke gank here. Mac, he's actually found Zeal, just going to drop the Requiem right on top of his face. 4-star forward as well. That is a dead Nature's Prophet for sure. Requiem does actually get stolen away though. So, I mean, it's not really going to do Kishka much unless he decides to pop it here, but now to sat on the high ground, he is safe. And I guess Polaris think he's TP'd out. They just leave him to his own devices.
This is a pretty big thing for Kishka to steal though. Like, I was looking at the spells from Polaris, like, yeah, a lot of Lich's abilities are good. Maybe, I mean, Exo's nice, but you prefer the Avalanche, but stealing Requiem, that is a huge thing for the Rubik. Remember, it does get that, like, it does a lot of extra. Oh, there you go. Just killed CMS straight out.
One man Requiems him in the face. That's style points there for Kishka, Gets a little free kill once the enemy support. He's on cooldown for 70 seconds, but doesn't matter. Bok, though, is running in. And there's 3 heroes of Avenue Gaming in the vicinity, but it looks like they're not interested in taking the fight. And they will all just back on out.
I think they be careful of this, what the Rubik has. You go into a fight, you see a vacuum come out, maybe the BKBs are down to the last second, suddenly Rubik blinks, and he's got all the mobility in the world, the Blink Dagger and the Force Staff, so he's not too far away from the Aetherlands. I think he can actually buy if he disassembles his items. So, I mean, I can see why Polaris are being a little hesitant right now. They do have an Aegis, though. It's going to expire in a minute and a half, but taking a fight against a Rubik with Requiem of Souls is also risky.
Yeah, it's a very scary thing. Just to note, the Zeal just had to use his first 9-second BKB charge to TP away from a Tiny. So, not the most ideal usage from there, but, sometimes you've got to do what you've got to do. Let's see which team. Everyone's sort of holding opposite sides right now. Polaris got control of the Radiant Triangle. Meanwhile, Avenue themselves are sort of all huddled up in their own jungle area. Neither team really looking to take the fight. Actually, I say that, and Polaris now going for this 4-man smoke, charging into the jungle, but everyone's already TPing out. Tusk just barely able to get himself out there in time. That was dangerously close.
You ever have someone like a person blink next to you and you just blink out at the same time? You're like, holy moly, that was the scariest moment of my life, and that just happened for him. So BB, you can bet he was like fully puckered up in that situation. He's a full maximum clench. He's like, oh, I made it out. He's gonna be very close to his first big item of the game on the Tusk, which is the Blink Dagger. I think he actually just got it right now. Tranquil boost into Blink Dagger, 31 minutes, but he has it. Time for Tusk to make all the plays. Well, yeah. Hopefully,
yeah. Or at least some snowball saves from like a Requiem, perhaps. Who knows? Up top, Akashi, he's just on Zeal right now. He's going to try and go for the Sprout TP, but it doesn't matter. Just blinks in between the trees and finds the kill. Down he goes. I was about to say that the pace of the game has slowed down heavily. Like, we were getting kills left, right, and center towards like the earlier mid-game, but Yeah, it's definitely both teams applied a bit of pressure to the brakes, choosing to, attempt a more tactical outlook of the game. Not one to just rush into the
Factfulness,
fight.
yes.
Yeah, that is the key. And we do see Polaris now huddling up as 5. Obviously, no Nature's Prophet still for 35 seconds. Does have a buyback available, and at least he didn't use his BKB as well. So if he does buy back, they are able to take a successful fight. Actually, might do the vacuum straight on towards the Shadow Fin. He's taking a lot of beating, but the 4-star's there, bring him to safety. Tusk just gets bullied down. Out, nice Requiem as well, actually. Doing a lot of damage on top. Death Prophet's still alive for now. Going to be able to retreat successfully, but it doesn't matter. The Marcy's into the backlines, focused on Kishka as much as possible. This is a stolen exorcism. The Marcy's taken so much beating. Is there any save? No, there is not. He also falls. CML going for a TP out, the 4-star there from Jing, just giving his fellow support a bit more safety. And that is a fantastic fight for Myth Avenue. All they lose is the sport. Oh, actually, no, never mind. They did lose Lena and had to buy back again. But hey, they defended high ground.
And then they just profit, actually, because, yeah, it was an expensive hold. They had to use two buybacks on... they had to use two buybacks on their two most important heroes, right? Like Nature's Prophet and Lena, because before this, they were ahead of Akashi. I was like, all right, the Marcy, I'm not going to say falling off, but not the dominant, unkillable hero that she was before. But then suddenly both of them buy back. Even though they kill her, they still damage their economy. We might have Roshan in about a minute and a quarter to 4 minutes and a half, something like that. So Myth Avenue, if they can control their area, maybe they could find an opening with this Roshan. It's not as one-sided as it looks. Yes, 16,000 in favor of Polaris, but if the Lina and the Nature's Prophet can just sit and hit for like 3 or 4 seconds, that might be all they need to do to win these fights.
Tusk is in. Trying to go into CML right now, but they're actually going to find Bok, the more high priority target. Is BKB still on cooldown for 3 more seconds? Can he survive? Looks like he will be able to. Chain Frost as well is going to do some havoc in the backlines. They've already lost the Tusk. Going to be the Eels holding back the Ducks as well. Can Miracle get himself out of this very sticky situation? Not sure if he can. 4-star does get the high ground, but Sinister Gaze drags him back straight away. And Mac was also actually able to find Kishka on the retreat as well. So 3 people dead in quick succession there for Myth Avenue. And Polaris are going to attempt this high ground push for the 2nd time.
And this time, there's a lot less for Myth Avenue to work with. You know, like you got 2 of your guys dead. Yeah, Tusk might be up in time, but the racks are disappeared. Like, look at the damage, dude.
Absolutely.
Look at the damage.
Disgusting. This is not fair. I mean, they've also got the shards, so there's not the shard. Sorry, do they have the talent? Yeah, so they got the minus armor talent from the Shadow Fiend. So this Marcy just absolutely disintegrates these buildings on top. They might just get megaed right now. There's no buybacks available. The Glyph is going to delay this a little bit, but I don't think Polaris are really too afraid of going back. Exorcism is back off. They're just putting all their eggs in this basket to just pretty much close out this game here and now. And all Myth Avenue can do is just watch in horror, as they've just been megaed in the space of about 25 seconds.
That's what happens, right? Your Exo farmed Marcy and the Shadow Fiend. In the meantime, Zeal, he's trying to... I guess he's trying to get some farm off, but hopefully he'll be able to make it out. And now, Myth Avenue Gaming, you know, when they were 16,000 gold behind, it was like, it's not that bad. It's not that bad, but they may get creep. I think it's that bad. It's very bad. It's 100% chance for Polaris to win based on the AI.
Right, lots of 4-stars going around. Tiny potentially to get grabbed right now. Focus on towards CML. Looks like the Lich might get taken down. She's still alive for now. Avalanche holding the ball back. Now the Shadow Fiend hits are going to rain in on towards the Darks here. They will manage to bring him down. The Marcy was sort of toe-to-toe with the Tusk. Just spells being thrown out left, right, and center. The Chain Frost is still bouncing. Actually, that's a Rubik Chain Frost doing a lot of work. Still the Lina just barely able to complete that TP and get on out. Unfortunately, Zil, though, I don't think he has the same option. Wants to try and take out the Marcy, but he can't even accomplish that. And yeah, Avenue Gaming, they tap out. They are done with this game number 1. And that is Polaris taking the first game.
By them. I mean, they took out the Marcy. We were like, is it off? I mean, we were like, it could be a core, it could be the position 4. They played at that, but Akashi showcases the strength of the hero. Really nice work by CML, by the way. He, from the start of the laning phase, when he was able to just run into the enemy, the Darkseid into the jungle, make sure he has no resources at all. Fantastic work by him. We don't often praise the position 5s, but his ability to zone out and win the lane for Akashi made a huge difference. Mac is just farmed up. Bok as well. I love the Wraith Band. 0 deaths on him. So those Wraith Bands were paying dividends in that game. And I mean, Jing, he did tiny things. Like, I gotta say, I didn't notice him as much as the other heroes, but he showed up when he needed to with a couple of his avalanches. Overall, just everything worked really well for Polaris, and big fan of the draft. Big fan.
Yeah, it was really good. Well executed, well thought out, and yeah, as a result, they obviously do take that first game, and it wasn't like super dominant. I felt like the start of the game was obviously it was quite favoured into Polaris' hands, but Avenue Gaming did show a glimmer of hope. They were able to bounce back a little bit, taking a couple of successful fights, but unfortunately for them, it just wasn't quite enough. And yeah, eventually they just sustained too many losses, and that was it. The game is over. But hey, that is Dota 2. Swings and roundabouts. Let's see if they're able to, potentially adjust the draft going into this second game. I'm not sure. Do you think there's any sort of key changes that they have to make?
They were too greedy. I mean, I feel like Nature's Prophet Lina is too much greed. You need one of them to be active around the map. Lina, she went for the Maelstrom to be KB, which is fine, but you might think maybe the first item boosts of travel. Yeah, it delays your Maelstrom. You want to farm, but you need him to show up in the fights. Like it has to be someone showing up to help out the team. So Nature's Prophet wasn't Zeal wasn't doing that. So Excellent wasn't doing that. So you need someone to show up. These 3 versus 4, 3 versus 5 fights cost them. And I think Mythavi will go for something a bit faster in game 2.
Yeah. Well, let's hope that they do. So game number 2, guys, will be coming up in about 10 minutes or so. So do stick around. More Dota 2 to come. We'll see you then.